Hi everyone, happy Monday. Jen Roque here at stampcampwithjen.com. I'm an independent demonstrator in Summerfield, Florida, and today I am here for my weekly Facebook Live. Hello, welcome. Today we are going to talk about some Stamparatus tips. I had a technique that I wanted to share with everybody, but one of the tools that we're using for that technique is out of stock now and it's retiring. So I can kind of explain what it is, but I don't know if I'll demonstrate it. I might demonstrate it next week. Good morning, Diana. Welcome. But I'll give everybody a couple minutes to kind of join. Welcome, Mary Ellen. Oh, Montana. Did you get lots of snow over the weekend? How was everybody's weekend? What did you guys do? We actually went to Universal Studios yesterday. It was a lot of fun. It was a nice day, a little bit rainy in the morning, but then it cleared up. It was a little muggy and humid since we're in Florida, but a lot of fun. We haven't been there since 2015, so it was really fun to kind of go and see what's changed since we've been there, and a little different. We had Disney annual passes, and they were pretty good about like keeping the distance and lines and stuff, and people at Universal, nobody really enforces that distance very well, so it was a little more crowded than I really liked, but what can you do, I guess. Luckily we've been vaccinated, so we felt a little safer, but lots of cold wind. Hung out with your grandson, Diana? That's great. It's so nice to have that family time. So all right, guys, well, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera over and we're going to talk about some Stamparatus stuff today. So give me 1 second. Let's go ahead and switch here and I'll get my light set up. Now, the Stamparatus is one of my top selling tools, I will admit. Everybody loves the Stamparatus. And it can be a bit overwhelming if you've never used it before. I try to use it in class sometimes to get people more comfortable with it, because it really is a great way to line up your stamps. You can make a bunch of cards at once using this thing, and it's just a really great way to get perfect stamping and perfect placement without worrying about messing anything up, or, you know, if you stamp something and it doesn't come out all the way, it's perfectly placed already, so all you have to do is stamp again and get that clear, crisp image. So some basics about the Stamparatus. It comes with two of these hinge plates, and we're actually going to use both of these plates today. I'm going to show you a cool way to use these, but to remove them, all you have to do is stick it straight up and pull up. If it's at an angle and you try to pull up, those little hinges are going to keep it from coming out. So you need to have it straight up, and then it will easily come out of the spine. And I would recommend when you're storing it that you only keep one plate in, because if you have both of your plates, that second plate is going to sit up. I'll try to show you. It's going to be kind of hindered by the other plate, and if you accidentally press something on it, you could easily break this plate. And sadly, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell just the plates by themselves anymore. So like I said, if you're going to store it, just take your plate out and lay it down on top so that the spine is kind of off to the side. It's loose, but it'll be flat at least, so that way if something happens to get set down on it or falls on it, God forbid, it won't break. So it comes with two of these magnets that are stored underneath in these little sections. Now, as you can see, everybody always warns and says, be careful, because these magnets are super duper strong, and if you get them close together, they will break, just like I did. And I knew better, but I had them sitting out on my table, and there's so much force with these magnets that they pulled themselves together, and this one snapped in half. Now, luckily, I didn't have my finger or anything in the way, which was good, but you got to be really careful with those magnets. But they do sell replacement ones. I just haven't bought them yet, because I really only need one. I hardly ever use both of them, but and then a good tip is if you have some painter's tape, to wrap around the magnet and make like a little handle right here. It makes it easier to pick up your magnets, but they just store right here in the underside, and then you have the 4 silicone feet that kind of keep it from slipping on your work surface. So, and then it comes with this black foam mat, which this is retiring. They do sell extras, so if you want to get this, you have until May 3rd or until supplies run out. It is on page, all of the Stamparatus stuff is on the current catalog on page 164, and this Stamparatus foam mat is currently on sale for $1.80, this black one. And then they also have this fun carrying case if you want to take your Stamparatus with you, like when you travel or maybe go to classes, and that's on sale for $11.60. And I just checked this morning and they're both still available. So if you are thinking about getting those, now's the time to do it, because there's only about 2 weeks left, I think, May 3rd or while supplies last. So that's on sale for $11.60. So in the new catalog, if you've been lucky enough to receive one, the new catalog has all of the Stamparatus stuff on page 144. Okay, this mat is, you can get this deluxe foam mat. It has a grid on it, and it's got a plastic sheen. So this is really great when you have photopolymer stamps that are a little bit thinner, and if you want to measure things, you can see, because obviously if you were to use the black foam mat, you can't see the grid on here. So this is a black foam mat with a grid on top, basically. So you could use this when you have those photopolymer stamps that aren't as thick, and you'd be able to see your grid to measure whatever you need to measure in here. So this is a really good investment. I highly recommend that as well. And that is $6. It's called the Stamparatus Deluxe Foam Mat. If you're looking on the current catalog on page 164, it's number 4 right here. Okay, so our little technique that we're gonna do today, I'm gonna teach you something called template stamping. Okay, this is really good, especially for, I know a lot of you like to start Christmas cards pretty soon, within the next couple months, if you haven't started them already. I know people start those really early because they want to get them in and get their idea of what they're going to come up with soon, and get them done quickly. I met a lady one time at a craft fair. She said that she loved her Stamparatus so much, it made it so easy for her to make all of her Christmas cards and get them out and get them to friends and family. She would just use her Stamparatus, and it makes everything super duper quick and easy. So let me get a piece of basic white paper. Yep, here we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our template first. So I'm gonna take a piece of basic white and cut it down in half here. So I have a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece. Okay, so what I'm going to do first to make my template, I'm going to show you how to make a bunch of these little sentiments. This card we made at Stamp Camp last week. It's so cute. So this technique that we did, we used Frost White Shimmer paint. That's the paint that's sold out right now. I was going to teach this technique this morning, but the paint is already. Will that fit other type of Stamparatus brands? Are you talking about the grid mat, Diana? I think those only go with the Stamparatus, the Stampin' Up! Stamparatus. If you're talking about the Misty, I don't think it will fit. I have a Misty, and the Misty is more like oblong. It's not a square. It's more of a rectangular shape. Yeah. So I actually have a Misty. Let me show you real quick. That's a good question, Diana. So this is the Misty that's Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell. This is sold by, I forget who sells this. You can get it at a lot of places online, but so their foam mat is a little more of a rectangular shape. Let's see, I just had it a second ago. What did I do? Oh, so here's the grid mat. It's My Sweet Petunia, that's what they sell. So if you were to put the Misty in here, or the grid mat in here, you can see it's a little bit too long. You wouldn't be able to get that that hinge plate down without it buckling. So it doesn't fit inside there. But good question. Luckily I had one of these to be able to show you. I don't know why. I have it from before I really got into Stampin' Up, and I just haven't really gotten rid of it. I like it, but I don't use it since I have a Stamparatus now. But to answer your question, no, they do not fit in here because it's a little too wide. But good question. Okay. So, like I said, we were going to do the... I was going to show you guys how to make this pearlized paper. I might still do it next week, but you need shimmer, was it Frost White Shimmer Paint, which is sold out now. So if you have some already, or maybe during a clearance rack update they'll have some for sale, I can ask other demonstrators and see if they have it for sale if you really want it. So I might still demonstrate that next week, but for this week I'm just going to show you how to do this template stamping and make a bunch of these sentiments for right now. Okay, so what you need to do first is you need to make your template, right? Only makes sense. So I have a 2-inch circle punch, which is also retiring, and I'm just gonna punch out a circle. Okay, so this is my template, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick our template. I always recommend, whenever you put paper into your Stamparatus, put it up in this top left corner, and then that way, I mean, you really don't even need to use a magnet if you don't want to, as long as you remember to stick it up in this corner, your paper back up in this corner. If it somehow adjusts and moves, all you have to do is remember to stick it back up in that corner, and it'll be exactly where it needs to be for your placement. But I'm going to put my magnet on just to be safe. Okay, so we have our circle, right? And we're gonna punch out a couple more. I'm gonna punch out, like, we'll say 3 circles. Okay, so you could do the same thing with dies. Dies or punches will work. Oh, welcome, Roberta. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So you have your template here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the piece that we cut out and stick it inside the opening where we cut it out from. And then we're going to take our sentiments and we're going to line them up where we want them on the circle. So I'm just going to kind of stick it down in the middle where I want it. I'm going to put my plate on. And then I'm going to put the plate on the back of the stamp to secure it in place. And then I'm going to also use, and that sentiment is from the Friends Are Like Seashells stamp. And then I'm also going to put this little starfish on there. And I'm going to use my other plate to secure that one down where I want it, okay? Now, when you're stamping, I highly recommend taking a stamp case. It doesn't matter which one, but take a stamp case and put it underneath your, let's move this over so you can see it. Put the stamp case underneath your plate, and that way your plate will lie flat when you go to ink up your sentiment. If you don't put something on there to make it underneath the plate to make it flat, your plate is kind of crooked, and then it could possibly break your plate if you do it hard enough. I've seen people do it without the stamp set, and that's your preference, but you have to be really careful because you could be in danger of breaking your plate. It's just it's really a personal preference with me. I saw a demonstrator do it without putting anything under her plate the other day, and I about had a heart attack because it just makes me nervous. So, all right, so we're just gonna ink up our stamp really lightly here. Just lightly tap. Remember, those new Stampin' Up ink pads are really juicy. So again, we just have our circle right where our opening is. I inked up my sentiment in Flirty Flamingo, and it came up, but you know what? That's not a problem because we're just gonna stick it right back in where that hole is, and I'm gonna stamp up my starfish in So Saffron and use the other plate to stamp on top of it. And again, it's stuck because it's photopolymer, but that's not a problem. See? And we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you how to do 2 more just like it. So there's, put another circle in here. And photopolymer stamps are very sticky, so that will happen where your stamp is going to come up, or your paper is going to come up on your stamp. If you're worried about that, you can try to stick it down somehow with like a piece of, maybe I don't know what would stick onto this foam, but I would just recommend just keeping it in the template and you should be fine. And if for some reason your stamp doesn't stamp all the way the first time, you can always flip it over if you need to, if it doesn't work. But if you just do even pressure, and you can always rub against it too to make sure, you should be good. And it didn't even come up that time. So again, perfect placement every time. They'll all come out the same. And I thought I had another circle here. I don't know what happened to it. So I'll punch one more circle, and I'll do it one more time, and we'll have 3 identical sentiments ready for card fronts. So like I said, this is perfect if you like to get ahead. I know I had a customer, Linda, she's so funny, she's so sweet. She's like, I like to make my cards ahead of time and have them ready to go, which I think is a brilliant idea. And you have them all ready to go. You could make a bunch of these all at one time, and this makes it super duper quick and easy to mass produce those cards for birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas. And there we go. And just like that, I'll take the template out so I can show you. We have 3 sentiments that are exactly the same, ready to go for a card front. How easy was that? All right, guys. Well, I think that is it for me for today for our weekly Facebook Live. I hope you've enjoyed this little tip talking about the Stamparatus. I will definitely sprinkle in little tips like this throughout the year, and I think it's a good way to get some practice. Repositional tape to stick. That's a good idea too, Mary Ellen. I wonder if it would stick on this foam though. It might be a good one to stick on here to keep your paper in place, and then it should come right off the phone. That's a really good idea. Thank you, Mary Ellen. But I will do some more of these little tips throughout the year, and I will do them more than once. Like, I will probably do this again as it comes closer to the end of summer when we're all thinking about Christmas cards, because I think it's a good way to get some practice in and kind of remind us of some great ways to use our Stamparatus for getting ready for the holidays or for any day really. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And don't forget, if you haven't checked it out yet, my paper share offering and my In Color Club are up on the blog. So go to stampcampwithjen.com and search either In Color Club or Paper Share if you're interested. You have until next Saturday, May 1st, to reach out to me and reserve and pay for your Paper Share and or In Color Club if that's something you're interested in. And then remember, if there's anything on the retiring list you'd like to order, they're retiring. The last chance product sale is going on through May 3rd, and the May 4th is when you'll be able to order all the new goodies from the new catalog. So, all right, guys. Well, until next time, have a great week. Be safe and happy stamping. Bye.